Hello, dear friends. Today I want to talk about something we all know too well, failure. Not failure as a distant concept, but failure that lives in our bones, in our dreams, in our midnight doubts. Failure after giving so much effort. Failure that fills us with shame. Failure that storms our heart and asks, why me? If you've been failing, in relationships, in work, in creative projects, in simply being the person you hoped you'd be, you are not alone. This video is not about telling you a motivational catchphrase. It is about truth, tenderness, permission to feel, to mourn, to rise. 1. What is failure, more than just not succeeding? When we say, I failed, what do we really mean? We mean I did not achieve the outcome I hoped for, the exam, the job, the project, the love. But there is more. We often fold into it fear, identity, shame, self-worth. Psychologically, failure is not just external, it becomes internal. It confronts our beliefs, am I enough? Fear of failure, a kind of adicophobia, can produce intense anxiety, disappointment, paralysis, self-criticism, even depression. So failure is less about the world and more about our story, the story we tell ourselves about who we are when things don't go right. 2. The emotional storm after failure, what many feel but few name. When you fail, really pour your heart and time, and still it doesn't turn out, a tempest of emotions can arise. Maybe you feel a deep emptiness, as though your effort was in vain. Shame, I looked weak, I'm not competent, they must be judging me. Anger, at yourself, at circumstances, at expectations. Sadness, a hollow longing, a grief for the idea you had. Fear of trying again, fear of being exposed, fear of being stuck. Hopelessness, maybe this is just how life is for me. These feelings hurt. They are heavy. And often, we try to push them away, pretend they're not there. But in doing so, we lose the chance to understand and heal. As one counseling resource says, when we fail, we can experience a range of uncomfortable emotions. Our instincts are often to escape from them, but this only prolongs the suffering. So first, I want to give you this, your emotions are valid. They are part of the process. It is okay to cry. It is okay to feel broken. Let these feelings live, even if just for a while. 3. Why we fail, logical, philosophical, human reasons. Let's explore the roots of failure, not to blame, but to understand. A. Imperfect information and unpredictable reality. We plan, we imagine, we strategize, but the world is complex. We cannot foresee every turn. The environment shifts. What we thought would work fails because context changed. Failures often come not because of lack of effort, but because of unknowns, hidden variables, chaos. B. Expectation versus reality gap. We tend to set ideals, perfect results, smooth paths. But life rarely flows in straight lines. When we expect the climb to be easy, every stumble feels like a catastrophe. It is the distance between what we expect and what actually happens that wounds us. C. Fear, perfectionism, self-sabotage. Sometimes failure is our own shadow. We fear success, we fear criticism, we fear being looked at too closely. So we unconsciously build walls, delay actions, undercommit, to preserve ourselves. In psychology this is called self-handicapping, placing obstacles in our way so that if we fail, we have an excuse. Perfectionism magnifies every misstep. It interprets a small error as proof of total unworthiness. D. Identity tied to outcome. We often believe, if I succeed, I am worthy. If I fail, I am nothing. But such identity is brittle. When outcome becomes identity, the fall is deep. E. Growth requires failure. In innovation, science, startups, time and again, repeated mistakes, experiments, failure are part of eventual success. Research shows that trajectories of success often include many failed trials, and that those who persist beyond a threshold refine and advance toward success. In short, failure is built into growth. 4. What failure teaches: the hidden curriculum. If you look deeply, failure whispers truths. 1. Humility and vulnerability. It reminds us we are human, that we don't have all answers. 2. Clarity. It reveals what doesn't work, so we can discard illusions and refine direction. 3. Resilience. Each time we rise, our capacity to endure expands. 4. Adaptability. Failure forces us to pivot, rethink, change form. 5. Wisdom. Eventually, we learn not just how to do, but how to be, how to carry intention, how to walk gently with our own heart. 6. Compassion. Through our wounds, we connect with others who suffer, offering empathy. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail." And Winston Churchill, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Thomas Edison famously observed, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What he recognized: failure is feedback. 5. How to live through failure: practical, gentle, philosophical steps. Here is a map, a way to move through failure without losing yourself. Step 1. Sit with the pain. Don't run. Don't numb. Breathe. Name the feelings: anger, loss, shame, confusion. Write. Speak. Let your inner world be heard. Step 2. Rebuild your identity beyond outcome. You are more than your successes or failures. You are not your grades, your projects, your relationships. You are the awareness, the breath, the will to keep loving, doing, trying. Step 3. Reframe failure as experiment. Each attempt is a hypothesis. It may not work. Great, we learn. We discard, adjust, try again. In science, we expect errors; in life, we treat them as opportunities. Step 4. Extract meaning, not blame. Ask, what did I learn? What assumption was wrong? Where could I shift? Not, who am I for messing this up? Step 5. Slow, small next steps. Don't demand grand leaps. Try again in small ways. One small project, one small act. Build confidence by doing small brave things. Step 6. Share your story. Isolation amplifies shame. When we tell someone else, a friend, a mentor, a stranger, we dilute the darkness. Your vulnerability may become someone else's comfort. Step 7. Trust time, trust unfolding. Wounds heal, directions change, new doors open. The soil is richer after the storm. What feels broken now might become your foundation later. 6. Day-to-day examples, connecting the philosophical to the small. The student who studies so intensely, fails an exam, sees it not as proof of stupidity, but as a signal: I must change my way, not reject myself. The writer whose draft is rejected, rather than abandon the dream, they revise, reimagine. The entrepreneur whose startup doesn't scale, they carry the lessons into the next venture. The person who loves and is hurt: heartbreak is failure in relationship, yet each heartbreak teaches compassion, discernment, capacity to love more wisely. The craftsman who makes many failed prototypes: gradually, piece by piece, a masterpiece emerges. In daily life, failure is always with us. We spill coffee, miss deadlines, misunderstand someone, fall short. These small failures train us, if we're willing to listen. 7. Reassurance: you are not a mistake. If you are hurting now, hear this. You are not defined by your failures. Your effort, even if it didn't yield the result you hoped, is not wasted. Feeling broken is not weakness, it is evidence that you dared to try. It's okay to rest, to grieve, to stumble. The road is long. One failure does not mean you will fail forever. The darkness you feel is part of the process, but it does not own your destiny. In the words of J.K. Rowling, it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all. Paulo Coelho helps. The secret of life is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So stand up again. 8. Final philosophical reflection, of failure and becoming. Think of a seed underground. In darkness. It seems nothing is happening. Yet inside, a fierce struggle unfolds. It pushes, crackles, breaks, it ruptures its shell. It fails over and over, the shell resists, the soil is heavy, obstacles press. But through failure, the seed becomes root, then shoot, then flower. We are like that seed. In the deep underground of our disappointments, our pains, our perceived defeats, transformation is being forged. In the great poet Rainer Maria Rilke's spirit, be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Live the questions now. Let your failures be your questions. Let them guide you. Let them deepen you. And when you stand again, wounded, scarred, but upright, you carry new strength, tempered light, deeper empathy. You are more alive. Thank you for being here, for letting yourself feel, for trying in spite of fear. If this video touched something in you, leave a comment, share your journey. You are not alone. And above all, may you rise again, stronger, softer, wiser. Fall 7 times, stand up 8.